Hey Booktube, it's Kim at Middle of the Book March, and today's video is another chatty video. I was thinking about this a little bit when I was looking at my October reading plans, and I started keeping myself a little purse-sized notebook of everything that I have going on. I was keeping it on Google Calendar, but it's just like, it's so much easier to pick up a little notebook out of my purse and write it down. But what I was thinking about were all of the reading events that I have planned for myself in October. And that led me to think about, how do I feel about all these events? And I have talked about this before because when I first started on Booktube, I was trying to take part in as much as possible, whether it was a reading event or buddy reads or read-alongs or book clubs. And I started to get so burned out by that. And I realized very quickly that I could not keep up. And I was getting stressed because I was trying to read as many books as I could, as fast as I could, to keep up with all of these. And there were a few I had to drop out. I just could not maintain the pace. And there were others that, thankfully, I started reading a book and ended up DNFing it because I didn't like it. So that worked in my favor for scheduling purposes. But this time I have a lot of things scheduled for October. And how do I feel about that? Do I feel like some of these are assigned reading? I was one of those kids in high school that you assigned me a book to read, I was going to hate it. There were maybe two books that I was assigned that I loved. One of them was 1984 by George Orwell, and the other was A Tale of Two Cities by Nathaniel Hawthorne. No, Charles Dickens. Nathaniel Hawthorne was The Scarlet Letter. That was another one I liked. But in my high school career, whenever you assigned a book to me, I would probably hate it because I hated being told what to do. Don't make me read a book because I'm not going to appreciate it. And don't you tell me what to do. And I instantly rebelled, and I have an authority issue. I don't know. But so it wasn't fun. Reading wasn't fun for me when I was made to read. And even when I got to college and I was taking literature classes, there were times when, I'm a reader. I love to read. But even in college, when I was assigned books on a syllabus, I'm like, really, I don't want to read all these. And I want to be the creator of my reading list. I want to be in charge of my own destiny, my bookish destiny. And so I got very resentful. Why am I telling you all this? Well, because do I feel that way on Booktube? Do I feel that way with reading events or buddy reads or scheduled reading? And I did at first. I've been on Booktube almost 5 years. And a couple of years in, I started to feel like that. But then I quickly realized that's nobody's fault but my own, because I was overextending myself. I had FOMO all over the place. I have to do this, I have to do that. There's so much Booktube encouragement to take part in this monthly reading event. There's some of them that are so big, like Victober, that I can't not participate. And so I was loading up all this pressure on myself, and I started to feel the resentment. I started to feel like I'm going to rebel. I'm going to not do this event. I'm going to cancel that buddy read. And then I realized, what am I doing to myself? Stop putting everything on my calendar. Stop volunteering for everything. Stop doing this and stop committing to that unless I was truly ready to follow it all the way through. And once I gave myself the permission to stop overscheduling, turn things down, canceling things, it became so much easier for me to really discern what I really wanted to concentrate on. So, again, that leads me into October. October is one of the biggest Booktube reading months ever. It is Victober. And so almost everybody that I know, that I watch, has some sort of plan to read something for Victober. And in case you woke up yesterday or you were born yesterday and you don't know what Victober is a reading event created by Katie Lumsden at Books and Things and several other creators, and I will list them down below. But basically, you read Victorian literature during the month of October. And there are several hosts of this reading event, and they have prompts. And I will, again, as I just said, I will put their links all in the description box below. So Victober is something I almost always read something for. And this month is no exception. But how do I feel about that? Do I feel like it's assigned reading? Do I feel like I have to take part because everybody else is? Is there peer pressure involved? And I am going to say absolutely not. Why not? Because this time I know what I'm doing. This time I'm not scrambling like a hot mess trying to figure out what I'm going to read and what event and should I commit to that? Should I do this? So I have a small stack of books right next to me that I'm going to show you, and I'm going to tell you why I'm reading them and for what purpose. And I am deeply excited about every single one. And even though there are several, I can't wait for every single one. And now I realize, and I'm old enough, I should have realized this a long time ago. Now I realize what it means to really be present in the moment of when I commit to a book or when I commit to a book reading arrangement, whether it's an event or a buddy read. I am much better now at knowing myself and knowing when I'm going to hate a book and knowing when I'm going to feel resentful at my own stupidity and signing up for yet another event. But this October is going to be a blast. I cannot wait. And let me show you why. I am taking part in Victober, but guess what? I'm only going to read one book because it's a big one and I have been dying to read this forever. This is a book that is over 800 pages. This is also a buddy read. I am going to be reading Vanity Fair by William Makepeace Thackeray. This book was published, and I love this copy. It's the Penguin copy. First published in 1848. This is a used Penguin copy that I got, and I absolutely love. I love this. I love when a thick book has a broken spine. You know somebody really enjoyed this. But I am reading Vanity Fair with Britta and Heidi from Britta Bowler and My Reading Life. We have been talking about this for a little while of reading this together. Actually, I think I invited myself. I crashed the party of Heidi and Britta reading Vanity Fair, and I'm like, ooh, please let me, pick me. So I'm going to be reading this with those two wonderful booktubers. This is the story of Becky Sharp, who defies her impoverished background to clamber up the class ladder. Her sentimental companion Amelia, however, longs only for caddish soldier George. As the two heroines make their way through the tawdry glamour of Regency society, battles, military and domestic, are fought, fortunes made and lost. The one steadfast and honorable figure in this corrupt world is Dobbin, devoted to Amelia, bringing pathos and depth to Thackeray's gloriously satirical epic of love and social adventure. I cannot wait to read this. I'm filming on October 1st. It is day one of our read-along with Britta and Heidi, and I cannot wait. Cannot wait. The next one is a reread for me, and this is probably one of my favorite books of all time. I read it many years ago, and this is East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I am going to be buddy reading this with my friend George, who is also a subscriber to many of our channels. He is a wonderful buddy reader, and we're going to be reading East of Eden through the month of October. Why? Because we want to, and I can't wait. This is such an amazing book. And you know, if you've listened to me for any length of time, you know that I'm a John Steinbeck master fan. Let's see. I am going to read just a little bit of this. In his journal, John Steinbeck called East of Eden the first book, and indeed it has the primordial power and simplicity of myth. But set in the rich farmland of California's Salinas Valley, the sprawling and often brutal novel follows the intertwined destinies of two families, the Trasks and the Hamiltons, whose generations helplessly reenact the fall of Adam and Eve and the poisonous rivalry of Cain and Abel. Bring it on. I cannot wait for this reread. If you have not read East of Eden, please make a note to read this book. It is amazing. The next one is a group read with the I'm With the Band book club, started by MJ at Reading This Life, and we are reading Oryx and Crake by Margaret Atwood. This is the first in I believe in a trilogy, the Mad Adam trilogy. This is another banned book, banned in high schools, probably by the state of Utah, among many others. Florida probably is in there somewhere too. But we are going to be reading Oryx and Crake. And Oryx and Crake is at once an unforgettable love story and a compelling vision of the future. Snowman, known as Jimmy before mankind was overwhelmed by a plague, is struggling to survive in a world where he may be the last human, and mourning the loss of his best friend Crake and the beautiful and elusive Oryx, whom they both loved. That's all I'm going to read. But we just finished reading A Court of Thorns and Roses, and as you have heard on my channel before, and this is our next banned book that we will be reading as a group, and I've already started this, started it today. It's fantastic, so that's going to be a fun group to read with. My next book is a buddy read with my friend Judy Brown, who is also a subscriber to many of our channels, a wonderful friend, a wonderful buddy reader. We're going to be reading Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. This is the first book that I bought from Jennifer Saint, and if you've, again, watched me again, I have her next 3 books. I haven't even read this one yet. Sister, Lover, Traitor, Hero. Ariadne, Princess of Crete, grows up greeting the dawn from her beautiful dancing floor and listening to her nursemaid's stories of gods and heroes. But beneath her golden palace echo the ever-present hoofbeats of her brother, the Minotaur, a monster who demands blood sacrifice. Saint writes myth retellings, and this will be the first one of her books that I will read, even though I've bought 4 of them so far. And yeah, I can't wait to get to this. Judy and I are going to be reading this the last 2 weeks in October. And this one is a buddy read with my daughter. I'm going to be reading this one with my teenage daughter because a movie is coming out, I believe, in December, and we need to read the book first. We are reading Night Bitch by Rachel Yoder. This movie is coming out with Amy Adams in the starring role. I love her. This is a little bit of the back. An ambitious mother puts her art career on hold to stay home with her newborn son, but the experience does not match her imagination. I can say that too when I was a parent of a newborn or 2. 2 years later, she steps into the bathroom for a break from her toddler's demands, only to discover a dense patch of hair on the back of her neck. In the mirror, her canines suddenly look sharper. Her husband, who travels for work 5 days a week, casually dismisses her fears from faraway hotel rooms. All I'm going to read. But Clara and I are going to be reading this together. We each have our own copy. And then we're going to go see the movie, I think, in December. There's one more book that I'll be reading in October, and it is called Yes, Chef by, I believe it's Marcus Samuelson, and I don't remember. I will put a picture here with his name on the book cover. I'm going to be listening to this one on audio, and that one is for the Critical Chicks Book Club, my in real life book group, and I'm going to be reading that for October 18th, which is our next meeting. So all of these books that I showed you and talked about are books on my calendar. Do I feel resentful towards any of them? I do not. And why is that? Because I'm a grown-up now, and I can monitor my own schedule, and I can say what I want, and I can read what I want, and I can say no to things, and I can refuse to put things on my own dang blasted calendar and have fun with what I'm doing. I don't know if I'll even read any more than the 6 books that I've talked to you about, and I don't care, because I probably will, but I don't care. It's no longer about quantity for me, it's about quality, and all of these books are super high quality, in my opinion. The longer books, I'm reading a little bit every day, and we're going to read it through the month, and maybe longer if we need to. Who cares? Because that's what you get to do when you're an adult. You make your own rules, most of the time. That's it for me. Hope you enjoyed my little chat. Let me know in the comments below if you're taking part in any events in October, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.